Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm replacing our damaged trim. First things first, find out what trim you have. This is I believe Colonial trim. I've already got a few pieces cut. This one's getting notched out for meeting with another piece, like so. I've got a few of my pieces cut. You guys can see I've been doing quite a bit of it. That's my butt end. I'm going to be making a new one of those. All I'm doing is cutting my pieces to the exact length of the pieces I take off. You guys are going to need a miter saw. You might need a table saw. I don't know, depending on what your situation is, but a miter saw for sure. This one is a old school Craftsman that I'm borrowing from my buddy Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. Shout out. You guys are also going to need, I'm using a DeWalt measuring tape. I got my Pika lead pencil. You guys are going to need a razor knife of some sorts. This is just a pouch. It's a tough built pouch that I'm carrying all that in. Next thing you guys are going to need is some side cutters for cutting off some of those nails that are sticking out, or you might pull through your existing damaged trim. You guys are also going to need some of these trim pry tools. I like these because they're nice and thin profile, so you're not going to be damaging your walls as much as using a bigger piece of equipment there. So I've got my shop vac in here. Those are the pieces I'm replacing. I'm also going to be replacing this one, but as you guys can see, there's damage on them. I'm using a rigid air compressor, rigid 18 gauge nailer. Obviously, guys, use what you guys have. This is what I have, just an 18 gauge nailer. I know some people will say you can get away with a 23 pin nailer, or you have to have a 16 gauge nailer of some sorts. This is what I'm using. This is what I have. Don't go out and buy tools you don't need unless you're replacing a lot of it. If you're replacing obviously full lengths across there, hey, go out and buy some multi-tool. That's what I'm using to flush cut up and down there. As you guys can see, none of that's actually damaged, so why replace the whole thing, plus having to move furniture and stuff. Replace these corner pieces. You're going to caulk and use painter's putty to fill in your gaps. I've already replaced a bunch of it around the house. Also, get yourself a nice little dual-sided hammer. This one has a rubber and some type of polyurethane of some sort. So this piece is a little bit harder. That's what I'm using to tap the wedges, or the pry tools down into that. The caulk is still there. That's what I'm using as a guide to guide me around there. Make sure they're in the exact places where I took them off. I'm going to be reusing the quarter round. So I'm going to go cut the rest of those pieces, come back and show you guys it coming back together. All right, guys. I'm back. I've got all my pieces here. So that piece goes there, this piece goes here, this piece is gonna be there, and then the quarter round's gonna go back. I'll show you guys this thing going back together here in just a second. Well guys, somehow it looks like I missed this cut by an inch at the back there. So I'm gonna have to go recut this. So, you know, this is kind of the things with DIY. I'm sure somebody would charge me a pretty sum of money to come and replace this. I'm gonna be replacing it myself. I'm almost done. I've got maybe, I mean, not including tools, I've got maybe $50 in material at best. An 8-foot piece of this Colonial PVC trim. I'm using PVC, not wood. And 8-foot piece of that is $15 at Home Depot. So besides that, these tools are just things I've acquired over time. Like I said, I missed this cut, so I'm gonna go recut it. I did also want to mention, get yourself a good square. I'm using a Milwaukee trim square. I don't really need a trim square, but I figured why not? It's just an excuse to buy another piece of equipment or tools that you have. So I'm gonna get to cutting this, and I'll show you guys once I'm all done. All right guys, so I've got all the trim replaced. Piece I had to run all the way back to that. I'm gonna be putting a new piece of cord around there. The old one was damaged. The only thing left to do is you're gonna get some painter's putty, fill in your holes, and then caulk the tops here. Some of the old caulk is still there. I'm gonna touch everything up. I'll show you guys what it looks like once I'm done, but this is the stuff I use whenever I have to use painter's putty. This is the one. All right guys, so this is how the trim turned out. You guys might be able to tell right there where the new trim meets the old trim, where I cut it and butted it into it. Even with the trim tools, I was able to put a little hole in there, but you can't do nothing about it. You know, just be careful. That's how the miters turned out, pretty decent. First time ever doing trim. Still have to be painted. Here's the other side. I did caulk it a little bit, but still need to go over it just a little bit more. You can see where there's just the slightest spots where I missed it. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. You know, hopefully this will show you guys that even as somebody who might not have ever done this, you guys can do it too.